G'day guys, this is Jay from Journey of a Whitefeather, kangaroos, koalas, my Steve Irwin impersonations that my friends overseas love. Apparently, rumour has, especially the Canadians and the Americans, as soon as I open my mouth, they go, oh, you're a Steve Irwin, and the snakes and all that. But I'm talking to another man from Australia, a creator, an artist, and he's telling his stories on TikTok. And I reached out to this man here, his name's Harper, and I've reached out to him. He's an author as well. And I reached out to him because I saw a lot of his videos online telling about his story and his growth, because he's gone through a few things in life which he's going to explain in his own words. But I think, as I do with Journey of a Whitefeather and a chat with Jay, it's getting to people, just normal everyday people, so they can tell their story and spread the word. And this is what we try to do here. This is why I started what I'm doing. Welcome, Harper. How are you?
I'm absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for having me. I actually really appreciated you reaching out. As you know, I started my TikTok to tell my life story because I've had a lot of things happen.
Yes, yes. I've read. This is why I've looked and I've just gone, wow. Okay, I got to interview this bloke. So it's going to be a great interview. So tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Let's get started because we want to get right into it. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your background, and then you want to tell us why you got on TikTok? I mean, we'll just go straight in, and we won't.
Yeah.
You can swear as much as you like. I couldn't give a crap. Just go for your life. We speak as we speak. But you tell me why you got on TikTok and why you want your story told, and what a great person you are. Let's go.
So I was actually gardening this January, or this December, sorry, last December, and I just had this epiphany that my life was about to transform. And as you said, like I've gone through a lot in life, but I felt like that this year it was going to change. Now, I had a massive phobia of being filmed, like massive phobia
Oh,
of
you're
being
here
filmed.
today, mate. Look at that. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
exactly. Because I mean, part of that is I do have a weird laugh, like you might have noticed.
Yep. Oh, that's not weird.
Um,
As weird as mine, mate. I run around Japan in a Robin outfit, mate. Seriously.
And I really always felt like people were looking at me and watching me, and no matter where I went or what I did. So I had a real phobia of being filmed. But I'm like, okay, I need to get over that. I need to start telling my stories. Now I've written three books, but I've published two.
Do you want to
Um,
tell us what where they can find them and what the names are, mate? That's awesome. I'm in the process of doing my second one now. Tell us a little bit about
oh,
them.
fantastic. So I've got my own stand store, which is in my bio in TikTok, Harper Black author.
Yep, we'll just I'll put
And
that down. I'll put that down. Harper Black author. I'll put it down underneath the underneath what we're doing now, so people can go straight to your thing. And where do they find your where do they find them there, mate? Is it on Amazon or anything like that, or?
it's also on Amazon. So both of them, so it's a two-part series. It was only supposed to be one book,
Right.
but I got to like 500 pages and I'm like, oh, I'm
500.
only halfway.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what's
I mean, it cut
and
down
what's
a little bit through editing.
okay? What's the premise of the book? What's the book about?
So what I wanted to do, I was still actually married to my ex-wife. Now, like right up front, I've been married to a man, I've been married to a woman, divorced both, and I joke, neither gender worked, but
Fair enough.
maybe it's me.
Fair enough. Yep. Fair enough. Nothing wrong with that, man.
So I was still married to my ex-wife, and unfortunately, I married two people that were abusive as well. And
Okay.
I wanted to write my books to sort of get out of my head what I'd been through as a child. So I was raised in a very religious household, um, going to church all the time, and I was sexually abused from when I was two till I was five,
Yep.
when my parents moved away, and then by another person from six to seven.
Right.
And
Okay.
I wanted to tell the story of, life can get better.
And so is that the
And
premise? Is that the premise of the book? Like, have you gone into what actually happened to you, and then you've sort of taken those lessons? I mean, I talked to Levine yesterday from Canada, and something very similar. And he's going into the sort of public speaking side of things. So, did you, in your book, do you sort of work? What tell us about the emotion, what you went through, and then utilize that when you're older? Is that how it will work?
Well, it's more sort of I mean it's semi-fictional, so I've
Okay.
combined some characters together. I've sort of taken bits and pieces of people in my life and put them into like one character or a particular scenario. I might have changed the person that was there, obviously changing names, all of those sort of things. But so it's sort of the story of me sort of at about sort of 14, 15, starting to go through puberty and sort of dealing with the remembering all of this abuse and well how do I take that on into adulthood. At the same time, I was also developing a mental illness.
Okay.
So I also have quite severe OCD. And that started manifesting around that age as well.
Okay.
And
And you've been
I went,
diagnosed. You've been diagnosed and all those kind of things with that one. You
yeah,
went through. Yep. Okay.
yeah. I was misdiagnosed a number of times.
Well, I'm sure you were. I'm sure you were.
Bipolar, schizophrenia.
I'm sure you
Um,
were. I'll keep
yes.
my opinions to myself. I'm sure you were. I'm sure you. Being in the spiritual community, my friend, there's a lot of
Yeah.
opinions. My friend of mine, Ira Moffrey, you can look her up on Instagram and TikTok. I've interviewed her. If you check out my YouTube channel, she talks about stuff like that. I think it'd be very interesting to jump on her channel. I think you'd find her very, very interesting.
Oh, definitely. Because I mean, one of the things that manifested right very, very early on was hallucinations. So
Okay.
yeah. So
I
I
think you need to
told
speak to
I
Ira. I think you need to speak to Ira. I'm pretty confident. I'm saying her. When I interviewed her, she talks all about this, and it's such a privilege to know her. And some of the stuff that you're talking about the mental illness, and talking about the spiritual connection in some
yeah.
in some cultures that they actually applaud when people come forth with these things. And she talks about all that. So please jump on. I'll send you an email or send you a link to that. And I'll do it while you're talking. Yeah, cool.
Oh, fantastic. I do think I was very lucky with my hallucinations because I didn't just get visual. I got auditory, I got touch, I got smell, I got heat, like, yeah, so
Wow.
sight, smell, touch, um, uh, taste, like basically all five senses.
Right.
Um, and I didn't know what was going on. Also, as I said, dealing with the teenage years, like what sort of adult did I want to be? Where did I want to go? I got
Yep.
into a lot of drugs to self-medicate as sort of like a 15-year-old. And
Excuse me.
uh,
I just tagged you in her TikTok for you. There you go. Live
oh,
on the
fantastic.
live on there. You can have a look there. So I'll just do it because otherwise I forget too. So it's very important you see it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. Sorry to
So
interrupt there.
that's all right. So the books are more about sort of that experience, sort of
Yep.
growing up. The second book is a lot more fiction. So the character actually moves overseas.
Okay.
Um, because in it, the character also, which is not me, sort of realizes that his parents may not be his parents.
All right.
Um, Now, where that came from is like when I was younger, I used to wish my parents weren't my parents.
We all have that, just me. We all go through that, especially someone. I mean, when you connect on that spiritual level, you're sort of like that odd person out. You always have these when you move into this work and you understand the awareness of the higher awareness of what's going on. You get out from 3D to 5D as I've done the last 5 years, and you sort of understand. You go back and regress and have a look. I did that when I was in Houston when I was in that hurricane. I think I told you it was in the hurricane. And
Yeah.
I sort of regressed back and thought about that as well. It's really, really interesting when you're sort of only in a room, locked in a room, 35 degrees plus with humidity, and you only got you, yourself, and your thoughts.
Yeah.
Bit of an American Indian sweat lodge experience.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely would have been. That would have been, yeah, very
But
scary.
I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. So, yeah, so my first two books are essentially about that. And then sort of going through life, as I said, I was married to, like, I became a Christian.
Yep.
So I had a drug overdose when I was 16.
Oh wow.
Um,
Okay. Yep.
and a voice said to me, "You're going to die."
Oh
Um,
really? Okay.
yeah.
So
So that,
how did you overcome that? Well, with the voices in your head, I mean, everyone talks about that. How did you overcome that we talk about the devil and the angel, say for use for better word. How did you cope with that as a 16-year-old?
So, I mean, drugs, obviously.
Oh,
But
I'm actually asking about the overdose and the actual words in your head. What was going through your head there? That's the critical
oh,
point, in my belief.
yes. So I realized that I had to make a change, that I had to do something. I used to always call it my like yeah, devil and angel on your shoulder. I used to
Yep.
always call it my wrong side and my right side.
Okay.
Um,
Yep.
constantly sort of battling each other. Because the intrusive thoughts would tell me one thing, and then my good side would be having an argument with them. And it got to the point, probably around 18, where it sort of hit a critical mass, where I was like, I can't cope with this. I can't mentally cope with this anymore. And I had my first breakdown because I couldn't function in the word. Like I literally could not concentrate anymore on what was going on in front of me in the real life because there was so much going on in my head. And
Yep.
by that stage, there was more characters. Like there was, up to like 5 or 6 different voices, and they all have different voices in my head.
Is this
Uh,
part of is this where it's transferred into the book writing, Harper? Is that
yeah,
yep. Okay, great. Yep. Awesome.
definitely. And so I was put in hospital. They thought I had schizophrenia. And as I said, I'm spoiling
Excuse me.
it all. It ended up being just severe OCD. So when OCD is so severe, the intrusive thoughts can get so severe that you can start seeing things. And I used to, when I was a teenager, I used to see my dead body everywhere.
Oh, really?
Um, which was
Wow.
part of my intrusive thoughts was, I would walk into the garage and see myself hanging, or I would go into the
Oh,
bathroom and see
wow.
myself dead in the bath. And that was a lot to deal with, like
Okay.
as a teenager. As I said, like the teenage years were
Excuse me.
probably the worst because I'm like trying to deal with life, also trying to figure out what my sexuality was.
Yeah, that'd have been huge. Do you mind talking a little bit about that? How you came to
Yeah,
the conclusion? Because you've said you've been married to a man and a woman,
yeah,
and being a young man, we go through it. I'm in the education, so I see it, but
yeah,
you don't really feel it because you don't know what's going on within them unless they come and talk to you or talk to a counselor or something like that.
exactly. Well, I end up pushing the bisexuality completely aside. Because as I said, raised in a very religious household, I'm like, oh, that's not a thing, that's not a thing.
Hmm.
Like you're attracted to women, so like that's the thing, So I end up, as I said, becoming a Christian. It's like after I had a drug overdose, I became a Christian. My
Yep.
parents were like, this is what you need.
Yep. Fair
Um,
enough.
and I must admit, it did help. It really did help.
Yeah. Cool.
Uh,
We've had some focus. You've got some focus. I mean, you made a choice to move. I mean, we've worked. I've
yep.
only learned about choice the last 5 years. I'll be perfectly honest with you. You made that choice, that conscious choice within your mind that I don't think we really realize. Greg Riley and Michael McNair, my mentors, told me you have a choice. I didn't really realize how much choice you really do have in these world, in the world, to go left or right. We do make choices all the time, but are we consciously thinking about it as you did?
Yeah, exactly. And I did a TikTok the other day about, I recommend flipping your life if it's not going well. I've flipped my life a number of times, and I feel like I've lived multiple lifetimes in this one lifetime
Has
because
it been has it
everything,
been a necessity? Has it been a necessity type thing, like to flip it?
definitely. Like so, um, I each time I've got to a point where I'm like, I can't continue down this road.
That's
So
awesome. That's good. That's great.
literally change everything. Like
Wow.
literally get out of the situation you're in, get out of the circles that you're running in, and start again.
Okay.
And I mean, I am lucky. I've kept some people along that journey. Like I haven't like literally just cut off everybody.
You know
Um,
when to, don't you? So I've kept people around, and I know there's people there that I just connect with like that. But there's people
yeah,
from my past and stuff and even people now, you sort of put them in. Not it's going to sound really bad, but you put them into a sort of like a category. You got
yeah,
your sort of, I call it like a pyramid, where you got your high
yeah,
level people which you connect with, then you got your friends which they're in your life. They've got you got they bring something to the table. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And it's, I mean, I used to say it's always like when I'm looking at my friends, I look at, how I can learn and how I can grow, which, can sound selfish, but like I don't want to be around negative people. I don't want to be around people that are going to bring me down or take me backwards of
yep,
where I've already been, because I've
yep,
already been through that. That chapter is closed. I'm starting a new chapter now.
yep.
So I end up getting married to a woman just after I turned 19. And uh, so it's probably a really long story short. She was not a nice person. And got worse and worse. And like by the time I actually left her, which was sort of 19 years, I was 38 when I actually left.
19
Um,
years. Wow. Okay.
yeah. And we went through it. Like there was things that we went through together that were really hard. So we did, and the fertility treatment and IVF journey for 7 years, which
Wow.
didn't.
Okay.
Um, and we bought and sold houses. We had animals and deaths of
So you
animals,
live
and
that standard, I guess we call it standard family life that people live.
yeah,
Go to work, do this, do that. Yeah, cool.
yeah, yeah. And through that marriage, what I call it is sort of, it was death by a thousand cuts. She really did break me down to a shell of a human. And I think the one thing that I tell people that they get really surprised of who I had actually become, because a lot of people that know me don't know that version of me. Like, I like to talk. You can, your watchers and listeners will know I like to talk.
Yeah.
So the last 3 years we were married, I wasn't allowed to talk. So unless I was spoken to. So
Wow.
I would come home from work, and if she didn't initiate a conversation, there was no talking in the
So,
house.
okay, I'm going to ask you how spiritually and as a person, not as a male, because I know they're going to pull the male card, but let's say
Yeah.
as a human being, what was that? What was going through your head to actually submit to that one? What was happening? Because I know myself, I let myself go. Basic people pleaser, and I just, well,
Mm-hmm.
whatever reason came through, and I know where it all came from. I've acknowledged all that. Um, and still to this day, I think we do a little bit of people pleasing. But when did you notice you're a people pleaser? Because that's just, yeah, interesting.
Um,
Coming, and it's, let's say, ladies and gentlemen, here I am. Clickbait this female to male.
yeah,
It's not. It's not.
exactly.
It's not just male to female, ladies and gentlemen. It happens. If you actually look at the human race, this is why I got this great man on. It's a human race thing.
Yeah,
Sorry to interrupt.
absolutely.
I just had to say that, mate.
Well, that's right. I mean, domestic violence is not a gendered issue. Like people can be mean and treat their intimate partners horrifically, like
Absolutely.
no matter what. I mean, I think the difference is, and not to go down this tangent because I'll get back. I think one of the things is men, are generally physically bigger
But
and
we are.
are,
It's the way it is,
yeah,
mate. I mean, you can say what
yeah,
you want. We are bigger, we are stronger. We've had,
yeah.
yeah, it's the
Yeah,
way it is.
exactly. Yeah. So and the thing is, I was also, as I said, also married to a man who also was abusive, and I understood from a female perspective how scary that is when they threaten you
Absolutely, it can be.
and
Yeah, I
threaten
mean,
your life.
this is the whole point
Yeah,
about being a human in fear of whether it be a male or a female, and
yeah,
the prerogative of being a big strong male, which is fine, but
yeah,
there's and we know people manipulate situations where, and as I said again, whether it be I'm
yeah,
using the word human,
yeah.
that can manipulate a situation, and but we'll talk about how why it happens to us. But you keep going with with your story, my friend.
Yeah, so I realized probably relatively early on that my ex-wife was not a great person, but I felt there was a number of things. One, I had a very, very low self-esteem. I always thought I was ugly. I was quite an unfortunate looking child. I obviously you know I've got big teeth, but when I was a kid, I had all of these teeth by the time I was in grade two. Like,
Wow, really? Well,
yeah,
your adult teeth, is that what you're saying?
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
all of
Okay. Well, fair enough. Okay, so I'll see where that
yeah.
comes from. Cool.
I was also really little because I was born at 30 weeks.
Oh,
And
okay.
I grew in year 10, I grew 1 foot in 1 year. So I was always
Oh,
really
wow,
little.
really?
Yeah.
Jeez. 1 foot. That's huge.
So I was one of those kids that my teeth were so big I couldn't shut my mouth.
Oh,
Which is probably
okay.
why I smile so much now.
Oh, you smile. I mean, you radiate a good energy from what you've been through, mate. So, I mean, you know, yeah, so much you can do from a kid and realize what's going on. And then you
Yeah,
wonder why you've got the energy and all that. Yeah, I see parallels. It's fantastic. So tell us a
absolutely.
little bit about your revelation. You've become an author and all that, but the
Yeah,
the reason why I got you on here is because you really have gone through a bit of a hard time, and you've realized now. I didn't realize about the two marriages, which is great to know. But and this is why I say, I'm being a human. What lessons did you learn, and what did you go through? What did it
yeah,
expose in you,
yeah,
and how have you gone up to come here on this podcast and have a chat about your great life and your two great books that you've written?
yeah. So I learned a lot about trauma essentially and
Mm.
how it affects you mentally, physically, spiritually, how it basically blocks off all of those natural gifts, for want of a better word.
Okay, yep. What was it like the
Um,
subconscious? You knew about the subconscious programming. You know about all that. So I'll just
yeah.
yeah. So you've done all. Yep. Keep going. Yep. Gotcha.
So I learnt that I had to discover who I was through all of that. I did trauma therapy. That was one of my starting points
Yep.
to try and understand, like how I could actually get past some of it and start something new. Um, but as I said, flipping the table on life was a huge lesson, like getting rid of what is not serving me anymore, because like I am a happy, positive person naturally. I did also find out the other week that that toxic positivity is also a thing. So
Oh yeah, but
um,
yeah. We won't go there. Jeez, tell you what, there's yeah, and it's sort of like on the borderline in some ways. I'm going to use the word evil, all right? So you see it and you just, yeah, it's just that. Oh, yeah, I use that sort of Harley Quinn Joker sort of thing, which is I know they're evil, but you get where I'm going with this.
yes,
You're
and your
too
brain can do that to yourself.
oh, you can, mate. 'Cause I think it's like a blocker of some sort, isn't it?
Yeah, or like a defense mechanism, like, oh, you don't want to feel
Yes,
this way. We're going to flip it around on you,
had that.
and make
Yeah,
make it all positive,
a lot of people
which
have had that. I'm sure they have.
which allows more trauma to actually come in
Yep.
because you're not actually dealing with it. You're not feeling your feelings. You're not understanding, where you need to go. So after I did the trauma therapy, I started feeling emotions, which
And
was
how long
like
haven't you felt emotions? How long did you actually block it out? How long were you blocking this stuff out?
I would say since my teenage years.
And did you? And I'll ask this question because a lot of people don't understand the blocking. How did
Yeah,
you know you released it? Because a lot of people go, "Oh, I go to therapy and I do this," but
yeah,
that's like when I do the remove the mask, write your story conversations with people. You really have to walk through that forbidden door. How did you know you
yeah.
walked through that? How did you know yourself you walked through that forbidden door?
So the epiphany to me came when I was just walking along the same sort of street that I've walked along like a million times, and I looked up at the trees and I was watching the leaves, and I just felt this immense feeling in my chest. And I ended up talking to my trauma therapist, and I said, it wasn't like I was going to cry, but like it sort of felt like I was going to cry, but I was really happy, and I could like, and it was like all here. And she's like, yeah, that's joy. And I was like, does everybody feel this? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
Like,
get
this
you.
is crazy.
Yeah, and again, I guess it's a point where we actually laugh as children as well, and we sort of seem happy, but then we seem happy, but
Yeah.
as you said, there's this funny, and I guess when we don't feel it, we don't. It's like eating a new food, isn't it? It's like we just don't know
Yeah.
what is this. What is this? You know?
Yeah. And I had, that wasn't the moment that I was like, oh, this is working. Like these blockers are being removed, which I've put up my entire life, to protect myself. Like I used to say to people, like, I only have two emotions, like as a joke, but then I realized that at the time I was saying it, like I was saying it as a joke and not realizing how, like, how true and how basically horrific it is to say, I only have two emotions, happy and angry. And I'm happy 99.9% of the time. Now, that is not a good thing. Like, like you
So
need more
would
than
you consider? Okay, here's a story for you. Would you
yeah,
consider? Okay, we've got 10 minutes on this, and if we have to go three parts, mate, we're going to go three parts. So don't. If you've got time, we're going to keep
yeah,
going with this. So don't think you're going to miss out on anything. So
yeah.
looking at regarding the happiness, did you feel you were blocking it, or just sort of like, ha ha ha? Oh yeah, I'm happy. Oh or in my case, hiding behind characters like when I was a pro wrestler, I used to hide behind my Jay Whitefeather, my Stefan Cool character, thinking I was them. Oh yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah,
Look at this. I'm a superstar. I was not. No, I wasn't.
yeah,
I wasn't. And now I understand that. Now I can actually love myself and then turn into that character like Robin from Batman, which I do, or not,
yeah,
or for whatever I'm doing. I can actually turn into those characters without and express myself. How did you feel
yeah.
about? How did you feel about blocking that out? And what were you doing in that case?
Yeah, there definitely was characters. I mean, I put a line in the book that that I think I would be a great actor because everything I was doing was acting constantly, for majority of my life. Like because I was being the person that I thought other people wanted, not who I actually was.
Do you know the story of Robin Williams?
No.
Go and read it. Go
Okay.
read it. Go read it. Interesting. Exactly what you just said.
Oh, okay.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah. It is.
You
It
were,
is. I
yeah.
find it absolutely fascinating. Like that, my brain. Like I mean, I find my brain very, very intriguing. It's like there's me and then my brain that
Well,
does
that's what I say. We're
everything.
removing the mask. That's why I, in 10 seconds, I said, like I wear masks all the time, whether I'm Bray Wyatt or whatever. When you remove
Yeah,
the mask, you see yourself. And as
yeah,
Cody Rhodes, I use my wrestling terms. Cody Rhodes said, "Write your story."
yeah,
Everyone's writing their story now and telling their story, and people like you need to be heard. That's why I do what I do. So keep going
yeah.
with that. It's amazing so far. So far amazing. Keep going.
Yeah, it was such an epiphany that first time that as I said, I felt that joy. And then I started sort of feeling more emotions and understanding why my brain had done what it had done. It was all a case of protecting myself and and removing hurt. Um, and
Excuse me.
but the downside of that is not, as I said, the toxic positivity that comes in your own brain, like not having those emotions, not feeling that pain or that hurt allows people to hurt you more
Mm.
because you're essentially giving them a free pass because one, you're not showing yourself at all.
Yep.
You're only showing the parts that you want them to see, and you're being the person that you want them, they want you to be, or you think they want you to be. So you're giving them the green light to go, yeah, like come hurt me, come do more, and never pulling up someone on bad behavior allows it to get worse and worse and worse. And that
How's your
was something
boundaries?
that
How's your boundaries going?
boundaries are getting much better now.
I'm talking back. I'm talking back then because I had no boundaries.
Oh, I had none,
None.
none,
I just go,
none.
yeah, I'm a happy little Vegemite. Yeah, I get you, man. I get it. Especially the character thing. You fly. Oh yeah, this guy's cool. You know what I mean? But you're not doing any boundaries whatsoever. Haven't got any boundaries whatsoever. So I'll just get that.
No,
Just get.
yeah, absolutely none.
Yep, absolutely no
Um,
boundaries whatsoever.
Yep. And that's what I was like with my ex-wife.
Yep.
I do have a funny story about when I actually realized um, that, you know, how long I had actually allowed it to happen. Um, but I will just quickly say it was one of the biggest learnings through both my marriages that I like actually getting some when someone said, "Well, what did you do to make her treat you like that?" used to make me really angry because I'm like, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. And then it happened again with my ex-husband. And they're like, well, and people would say, well, what did you do to make him do that? And I'm like, what? Why am I getting the blame here? Like I'm the one that's being has been abused. And then I was like, oh, I know what I've done.
Bang.
Like, and the people that were saying to me weren't actually saying it in a bad way. I think they
No.
were actually also trying to make me realize, well, like, why were you letting this happen? Like, what was going on? Why were you giving them constant like chances and allowing it to
And
get?
validation and everything else, isn't it? I've been there,
Yeah,
mate. I've been there. It's just like whether it's a relationship in marriage or a friendship.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and then yeah. Oh, look, keep going. I get it.
yeah.
I
So
get it.
the funny story with my ex-wife. So I absolutely loved and adored my ex-wife. And I had tried to commit suicide a number of times through that marriage. As I said, I'd
Wow.
been misdiagnosed a number of times and put on different meds. I'd been hospitalized. I'd been through all of that. And granted, she went through all of that as well. Doesn't negate the fact that she was essentially just a horrible person to me and to other people. Like I'm not the only. I've had a few people on TikTok reach out, some ex-friends of hers, that have gone, yeah, like I'm not surprised that happened behind closed doors because, you know, she wasn't overly nice. Because as soon as she's done with someone, she would just treat them awfully. But why did I let it go on for so long, and how long was it actually going for? So when I left her, I left with the suitcase. I went to my parents' house because they were away.
Yep.
I'd only just recently connected with my parents because I had cut off all of my family for years.
Is
Um,
that to do with the relationship? Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, it happens.
because,
And as I said to you,
yeah,
the dominant person. I know I'm guilty of that too. They go, especially when it comes to blokes, you cut off your mates when you get a partner, right?
hmm
That shouldn't
yep,
happen.
no,
That shouldn't
no,
happen, ladies and gentlemen. Here's a reality check. If you There's
yep,
nothing wrong with spending time with your partner and stuff, and you enjoy it or whatever it is, but if you're cutting your mates off, something wrong there, mate.
yep.
That's my call.
And if
I
you're
agree
cutting
with you.
someone off because it's easier, because you don't want to deal with the backlash when you get home and the bitching and the moaning about that other person and your significant other, or in this case, my ex-wife, just nitpicking at the person that we just saw. If like cutting them off also becomes like well, I don't want to hear this about that person anymore, so I'm going to cut them off. Like
Now, it
again,
doesn't come. It comes down to a trust too, doesn't it? It comes down to a trust of the person. Like if you've got someone in your life that does something for you, okay, whatever it may be, and the other person doesn't like it, the person should respect that you've had this relationship for it. And yeah,
yep,
I don't see the problem with it. I mean, I might be an absolute blithering idiot thinking that, and people go,
no,
"Oh,
I think
you
correct.
should respect it to get rid of it." What are you going to? At the end of the day, the person should know with who you're with should trust you for the person that you are. If you show
Yeah.
other qualities, that's a different story. But if you're not doing anything and you're getting hit for it, what's the point? Am I not wrong?
No, you're not wrong. One of the first signs of an abusive relationship is removing your support networks. So,
Ladies and gentlemen,
your friends and
welcome,
family.
welcome. It's not wrong.
So,
I mean, if you don't hear, and then you hear about all this stuff, and we've had the male and female dominated. Okay, on that thing, hold that thought. We're going to go into part two. So we're going to talk about getting cut off from your support network. That's going to be our call in part two. This thing's going to go for a while, ladies and gentlemen. Go and get yourself some water. I'm telling you to get the good stuff: water, cashews, all those things. or if you want to get a coffee or whatever you want to do, go get yourself set up because Harper's coming back in part 2. And we're going to talk about how he got to where he got to and these great books he's going to talk about. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much. We'll see you in part 2.